So the sixth and final process is called monitor and control risks, which is to implement risk response plans, track identified risks, monitor residual risks, and identify new risks, and of course, evaluate risk process effectiveness throughout the process. The monitor and control risk process applies techniques such as variance and trend analysis, which require the use of performance information generated during project execution. Other purposes of the process are to determine whether the project assumptions are still valid, whether the risk management policies are still being followed, whether the analysis shows that a risk parameter has changed or can be retired, and whether the contingency reserves for cost or schedule should be modified in alignment with the current risk assessment. The inputs for the control risk process are as follows. Project management plan. This, of course, includes the risk management plan and provides guidance for monitoring and controlling risks. Risk register. The risk register now has key inputs that include identified risks and risk owners, agreed upon risk responses, control actions for assessing the effectiveness of response plans, risk responses, specific implementation actions, symptoms and warning signs of risk, residual and secondary risks, a watch list of low priority risks, and the time and cost contingency reserves. Next, another input here is work performance data. This is data which is related to various performance results that are possibly impacted by risks and can include deliverable status, schedule progress, and incurred costs. Finally, work performance reports that show performance measurements such as variance analysis, earned value data, and forecasting data. For the control risks process, we've got quite a list of tools and techniques. There are 6. The first is risk reassessment. Project risk reassessments should be scheduled regularly because this process of controlling risks often results in identifying new risks. Depending on how the project is progressing, should dictate how often and detailed these assessments should be. Risk audits. Regular risk audits may also be conducted to determine if any risk parameter has changed. The risk audit is also used to evaluate the effectiveness of risk responses and our risk management processes. Variance and trend analysis. This focuses on the difference between what was planned and what was executed. A one-time snapshot of cost may not cause concern, but a trend showing worsening cost performance may indicate that a problem is imminent. Technical performance measurements compares technical accomplishments during project execution to the schedule of technical achievement. Technical performance measures could include things such as weight, transaction times, or number of delivered defects. Reserve analysis compares the amount of the contingency reserves remaining to the amount of risk remaining at any time in the project so that we can determine if the remaining reserve is adequate. And finally, we need meetings. Project risk management should be on the agenda at periodic status meetings. The more frequently that people discuss risk, the more likely they are to actually identify risks and opportunities and in turn take action as necessary. The outputs for the control risks process are as follows. Work performance information. This will be useful as we need information about the work that's been performed on the project so far so we can use it to communicate with team members and support decisions we make about the project. Change requests. Remember that these are prepared and submitted to the Perform Integrated Change Control process of the Project Integration Management Knowledge Area. Change requests can include preventive actions as well as recommended corrective actions that realign the performance of the project work with the project management plan, which leads, of course, to project management plan updates. Sometimes changes made on the project have an impact on the risk management processes, and this will need to be reflected in the risk management plan. And the control risk process is the last of the processes in the project risk management knowledge area. This knowledge area really focuses on helping us to understand what is needed to identify risk events, how to analyze and understand them, and how to develop strategies for handling them. Many organizations today are putting more emphasis on risk management to assist in reducing the number of reported project failures. A well-developed risk management plan should mitigate the risk for project failure. And remember, it's everyone's responsibility to manage risks in an organization. I hope you feel better equipped to manage your project risks. I invite you to read the case study and practice the exercises we've provided for you at the end of this module. And I hope you'll join me in the next module as we review more of the project management body of knowledge.